Hi, guys. So, this week's reading from Dennis C. Beck, I found it really eye-opening and really personally relevant to how I think about training actors. Beck's main argument is that the American method, what came out of Stanislavski's system through teachers like Strasberg, created this kind of paradox where actors became so focused on their own emotional truth that they drifted away from what Stanislavski was actually trying to achieve, which was a truthful performance born from purposeful action and imaginative circumstances. Uh, what really struck me is how Beck reframes the method as a product of its own cultural movement. It thrived in an era when American society idolized individuality and authenticity. Actors were expected to dig deep into their own personal experiences to find truth. Beck points out that this focus on self exploration can lead actors to internalize their work too much, and they lose the ensemble spirit and imaginative play that were central to Stanislavski's, intent. Um, that really resonated with me because in my own directing and teaching, I've seen, young performers uh equate intensity with honesty. They think that if they cry or break down on stage that that's good acting, but Beck reminds us that emotion isn't the goal. It's the result of truthful doing. I've seen how important it is to build exercises that connect students back to action, not just feeling. I had a middle school theater program, so these kids didn't have the life experience to really pull from, and they would try, but it's not what they needed. So when I was working with the cast on a scene, I tended to ask them, "What does your character want right now?" instead of "How do you feel?" Um, Once they started focusing on their objectives and actions, their emotional life kind of emerged naturally. And that's exactly what Beck argues. Truthful emotion is something that comes from the pursuit of intention, not from personal memory. That shift kind of made rehearsals feel lighter, more safe, and more collaborative. My actors started to realize that they don't have to dig into what they don't know or dig into trauma that they do have to deliver something powerful. Um, they can live fully in the moment of the play, which is something that I really had to learn how to teach them myself, especially with them just being middle school. I had fifth through eighth grade, so I had 10 to 13-year-olds. Most of them don't have the life experience to dig into to pull out of. Another thing I appreciated in Beck's writing was he called for balance, honoring what the method contributed, but not getting stuck in what it limits. He isn't saying the method's bad. He's saying we need to understand its context and move beyond it. Uh, I kind of see that as a challenge for those of us training, the next generation of actors. Students today come from diverse backgrounds and carry really different life experiences. A one size fits all approach, like the old method, doesn't really work anymore. We need to give them tools that prioritize imagination, empathy, and connection just as much as personal authenticity. Um, when I think about how I'd apply this in a classroom or rehearsal, I'd really combine Beck's ideas with practical exercises like sensory work for awareness, Meisner's repetition for responsiveness, and Adler's imaginative exploration to expand beyond itself. I'd really try to blend all of those together so that it would encourage actors to be truthful, but also adaptable and outward looking. It's about teaching them to respond truthfully to the moment, to each other, and not getting trapped in their own emotional history, which is what a lot of people say that the method does. Um, but ultimately, Beck's essay really pushed me to think more deeply about my role as a teacher and a director. If I'm training the next generation, my responsibility isn't just to help them feel the truth, it's to help them embody it, to build a craft that's sustainable and safe and alive. Acting isn't just about self indulgence, it's about self awareness and connection. Beck's paradox reminds us that true artistry lies in that balance between emotion and action, self and imagination, and your inner life and the ensemble. Thanks, guys.